I'm Eric Hollander, and in today's video we're going to go over how to correctly chart your basal body temperature. Now, I get a lot of questions from my patients about how to fill it out. Sometimes they bring it back and they haven't done it because they just didn't really understand how to do it. So to kind of make it really clear, and for anybody out there who has this kind of question in mind, this is the way I recommend doing it. So there's two different methods of tracking your temperature. There's the paper charts that I prefer, and some people like to just use the apps that they can get on their iPhone. There's a number of different ones out there, such as Fertility, and the way you're filling them out is going to be pretty similar. There'll just be less things that you can fill out on the app, and the paper copy is going to have a lot more detail. So I really do prefer the paper one, but if you must, the phone is the thing that you're just carrying around all day and you're just a phone person, then use the phone. Either way, you're going to have the data, but you're just going to be able to compile much better data with the paper charts. The paper charts are available free on my website, so you can go there and download them at any time, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But I just wanted to talk about when you should be charting. So if you start to do this and you're kind of in the middle of your cycle already, or you're kind of toward the end, you may just want to wait until your menses starts and then start tracking at that point. If you're before the mid-cycle and you haven't ovulated yet, then yes, you may just want to go jump in there and start tracking it, because we can kind of start using that data from that point forward. But if it's getting toward the end, then you just want to just kind of review how to do it and hang in there until the first day of your cycle, and then start tracking it. So whenever you need a BBT chart, you can just come over to my website and scroll down to the forms box over here. Click over here and it will bring up a PDF of the BBT chart, and just go ahead and print out as many copies as you need. Okay, now let's go over the filling out of the chart. So be sure to put it in the month, because you're going to be taking going a few months in a row, and we want to keep track of that. In the year and cycle day. This is important because it's not the date itself, but the actual day of your cycle. So day 1 being the first day of your flow. So you're going to want to figure out when did your period start, and then start tracking from there. And recommend, if your cycle is nearly over, just go ahead and start from the beginning, kind of wait for your period to start. It is a good idea to get those first few days of your period in. I do recommend that. And generally, the more detail you get, the more data we're going to get, the better tracking we're going to do. So aside from that, the cycle day and the date itself, the day of the week is not too important to worry about. Time, temperature taken, that's a pretty good thing to note, especially if you do tend to wake up at different times of the day, big variations between the weekend and during the week, because again, that can change the temperature from just waking up at a different time. So it's really good to note that, so we can kind of factor that in. Checking off when you do have sex can be really handy to know, to see if your timing is correlating well with ovulation. So don't be shy about that. It is a really good idea to check those boxes too. So one of the more confusing things about filling out this chart is what do you do about the temperatures? What do you circle? So this chart basically starts at 96.4. It doesn't really go below that. So if your temperatures really shouldn't be below that too much, because that could be a sign that you're something malfunctioning with your thermometer, or you're not taking your temperature correctly. And if it's significantly in that range and everything else is fine, that could signify some other types of issues. So, but if it does go below that, you can just kind of write it down, this miscellaneous area below, and we can kind of factor that in. But it starts at 96.4, so basically it goes up in tenths of a degree. So, for example, if your temperature you're waking up and it is 97.2, then you're going to want to just go ahead and circle the 2. You don't have to circle the 97. If it's 96.8, you're going to want to go, because this is 96, just go to the 8 and circle it, and so forth. Once it hits, if it goes up into the 98s, just circle 98, 98.2, just circle the 2. So you don't have to circle 98 and 2. Let's go ahead and circle that. So those are the important things to do. And if you forget one mooring, just leave it blank and go on to the next box. And at the end of the month, at the end of your cycle, you just want one piece of paper per cycle. So at the end of the month, you just want to start over again with a new sheet of paper. That's the best way to track it. So here I've kind of partially filled out the chart so you can get an idea what it would look like if you're getting it every day. And the temperatures are, I'm circling them and I'm actually connecting with a line. You don't have to worry about that, but I just wanted you to see what happens when you put them all into the chart like this. You get a nice kind of a graph of your temperature. So it's much better than just writing the temperatures down on a scrap of paper or just kind of jotting them down on your calendar. You get a lot more impact and info if you do put it right into the chart like this, because you do get a really nice graph. So I'm not going to go into what the different temperatures mean and when it's up and when it's down, because that's kind of out of the scope of this video, but it's just kind of the mechanics of how to fill things out. So also I wanted to point out here are some other important boxes that you do want to note some of these things. So if you are using an ovulation predictor kit, that is OPK. That's what OPK stands for. And if you're taking it, say for example you take it on day 10 and it was negative, just draw a negative sign. And to say you took it on day 14, it was positive, or day 13 or 14, or maybe you got both positives. Just go right a positive. And if you're seeing cervical mucus, it's another really important thing to note in your chart. And you can just go ahead and check off those days that you're seeing cervical mucus. And if you want to describe it, or if it's kind of changing, you can use this miscellaneous area again to describe the changes. And if you're getting some of those ovulation cramps, those little sensation around the ovulation, go ahead and just check off the box. Those are really important. The first, ovulation pain, the OPK, and the cervical mucus would be the most important things to note in this area here. Okay, and I just wanted to go back in during your menstrual flow, when you're having your flow, and if you're seeing clots or you're having pain, anything significant to note, you want to go ahead and just jot that into these boxes here, because that's some good information to have. Okay, and below here, these are a lot of symptoms that are usually found around PMS or during the menses. It's like such as cramps, sore breasts, getting bloated, and I really recommend charting that whenever you're getting it. It can happen mid-cycle around ovulation. It can happen prior to the menses. Sometimes they can happen prior to pregnancy. So whatever you're seeing during that day, just go ahead. If it's a headache you're getting, check off the box. If the breasts are sore, check off the box. All right, and that should pretty much cover it. And if you're doing all that and you're filling out your chart really well. Well, that pretty much covers the basics of filling out the BBT chart. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or check me out on the web at www.acupuncturesandiego.org for some more video and blog posts. Till then, take care and be well.